Welcome everyone to this session. We are going to continue regarding agricultural economics for your AFO examinations, right? So till yesterday we have done the ABM marathon session. I hope all of you liked it and found it useful. Tomorrow is your exam and I believe all of you will be busy revising and studying. So kindly we are going to move ahead with our AFO exam for all the aspirants who are concentrating on AFO. So let us start today's session with supply. So in the previous session, 3 days back, we had stopped with demand elasticity and demand. So today we are going to see the same concept but with related to supply, right? So let us begin the lecture. Now again, we have started our AFO sessions again. So I hope you will download the Oliveboard app so that you'll get the notifications instantly so that you can cover your syllabus properly. Now, the first thing you need to know is we are talking about something called as supply. We are not talking about stock, right? So, you need to note the difference. So, we are going to begin this lecture by studying the difference between stock and supply. So, all of you might have a general idea of what stock is, usually in warehouse terms or in business terms, people keep asking, those who run retail showrooms and wholesale showrooms, they'll know what is the stock, how much do we have, how much should we buy and all those things, right? But now, what is the exact definition? What is the exact difference we are going to study now? Starting with first one, that is definition. So when we talk about stock, we are talking about the quantity of commodity available at a specific point of time with the producer. So we are talking about how much quantity of a product is altogether available with the producer at a specific point of time. So this stock can include, I think you can't see, so let me write it this side. So this stock will include what is being sold and what is going unsold and sitting in the warehouse, or what is being hoarded or stored or anything like that. So both of these together will be stock, right? So the overall quantity that the producer has with him regarding the commodity at some point of time, let us say today is 16th, on 16th 12/23, what is the stock that the company has at a specific point of time. We are not going to measure it as a flow concept, it's a specific point concept, right? It's not a flow, it's a static concept. That is, on 16th December 2023, the company held the stock of this much amount, like that. It is very specific. Coming to supply, it is the actual quantity that the producer is able to and willing to sell at a given market price over a particular period of time. So there are three things that you have to understand here: able to and willing to. There are two things, like in demand we saw the person should have the ability and he should be willing to pay, right? So similarly here in supply, the producer should be able to and he should be willing to supply. If this is there, this is not there, then it is not supply. If this is there and this is not there, then also it is not supply, right? So when we talk about supply, it is different from stock, because in supply we are talking about how much quantity out of the stock, how much quantity does the producer want to sell and how much is he able to sell, right? So obviously all producers will be willing to sell maximum amount, but are they able to sell that? That is the question, right? So let us say two things might happen here. Let us take a fresh empty slide, right? So two things might happen when we come to supply. First thing is, able to sell is there but willingness is not there, right? So what does this mean? The consumer is able to sell. Let us say he wants to sell 50,000 units. He is able to sell, but he is not willing. Maybe he is not willing due to price or any other issue. The season is not good or something like that. Quality of product is not good. Anything, right? It can be any issue. So this doesn't become supply. Second thing, ability is not there but willingness is there. That means what? willingness to sell 50,000 units is there, the person has, but does he have the ability? No, he doesn't have. Ability means what? Ability to produce. He doesn't have the ability to produce. So both of them, they are not supply. So for supply to exist, both ability and willingness must exist and they must go hand in hand, right? So this is the meaning. So what is the, and the third one is, it is over a particular period of time. See, it may be over 1 day, 1 week, 1 year, whatever. So it's over a period of time. It is not at a particular point of time like stock. Supply is for a longer or over a period of time, right? So again, measurement, it is at a specific point in time, it is measured over a period of time. Interdependence. Stock is not dependent on supply, but supply depends on stock, right? So maybe you can remember it like this. Supply comes from stock, whereas stock comes from the production or output, production of output, right? So supply comes from stock, stock comes from the output produced. So supply depends on stock, stock doesn't depend on supply. That is the meaning, okay? So what is the last difference? The last difference is dependent factors. So stock depends on production levels, obviously, like I told you, stock depends on output produced, then it will depend on how much level of output is being produced, right? So that is its dependent factor. Supply depends on factors like price. You might have more supply, but if the price is not good, you will not sell all of that, right? So you will stock it, you will store it, correct? If the price is not good, but if the price is good, you will sell more. You will not store anything, everything will be sold. So supply depends on price, but stock depends on how much level of output is being produced, right? So this is the basic difference. So I hope now you know what we are talking about. We are talking about supply. We are talking about how much the producer is going to sell over a period of time at various prices. Now let us look at supply little in depth, right? So what is supply? Supply means quantity of good or service offered by producer for sale at different unit prices in a given market at a point of time, right? So let us say on previous day or in the last week or something like that. So when you are taking over a period of time, then it becomes supply. Now let us take the example of oranges. There is a farmer who has produced oranges. He wants to supply these oranges to the market, right? So now he has quantity of oranges and then there is price, right? So now let us say he wants to sell 100 kgs when the price is, this is rupees per kg. When the price is 50 rupees per kg, he wants to sell 100 kgs. He will sell 200 kgs when the price becomes 100. He will sell 300 when it becomes 150, right? So what is this here? The various quantities of a commodity. What is the commodity? Orange. The various quantities of a commodity that a producer is going to sell at various unit prices. So that is your supply. I hope supply is clear. And from this table, what we are going to get is your law of supply. So similar to law of demand, law of supply exists, but what is law of supply? Law of supply states that quantity supplied and the per unit price are directly proportional. So law of demand states that quantity demanded and the price of the commodity is indirectly proportional. But law of supply states that the quantity of product supply varies directly, right? So QS varies directly with price. But what does law of demand say? Law of demand says quantity demanded varies inversely with price. So this is the meaning. So now we know when price increases, quantity supplied also increases for obvious reasons, right? Because producers wants more profit. When price is more, if you sell more, you will get more profit, right? So that is the reason. So when price decreases, quantity supplied decreases because producers want to minimize loss. Here they want to profit, they want to maximize, right? So I hope law of supply is clear. Now coming to this table and this curve. So this is nothing but your supply schedule and this is your supply curve, right? So supply schedule is nothing but when the information of supply, right, the information of various quantities supplied of a product at various price units is given in a tabular form, then it becomes supply schedule. When the same table is converted into a graph by taking quantity on x-axis and price on y-axis, then we get an upward sloping curve. What is this? This is an upward sloping curve, right? So this is your supply curve. So we can also state this as slope of supply curve will be positive, right? So slope of supply curve will be positive. So this is supply schedule and this is supply curve. So determinants of supply. So what determines supply in a market, right? So first one, obviously number of sellers in a market. If sellers are more, they want to, if more number of sellers are there, there will be more product in the market, right? So if you go to, let us say, a very famous clothes market or jewelry market or even eat street and food street kind of places, so many number of sellers have gathered in on that one place. So output is so much in that one place, there are so many products, so many shops you want to purchase from, correct? So the number of sellers in a market, if they are more, then there will be more number of output. This can be taken in another way also. I'll explain it in another way. Now let us take it in industry wise, right? Now let us take electronic vehicles market. Not many well-known brands are there out there. There are only few number of sellers. Because there are few number of sellers, there are only few number of choices for the consumers. There are only few outputs. Let us say electronic vehicles, there are only 3 manufacturers of electronic vehicles, A, B, C, right? So you can either purchase from A. Let us say A has 3 models, B has 2 models, C has only 1 model. So altogether, how many do we have? We have only 6 products in the market, 6 electronic vehicles, albeit they are from different brands. But overall, the consumer has a choice of only 6 products, right? Now let us compare this with the mobile market or mobile industry. We can't count, right? There are so many number of sellers or producers of mobile, A, B, C, D, E, F, right? You can keep on naming. Each one has almost hundreds of models. So can you see the number of choice, the number of outputs that are present in the market keep on increasing, right? So if there are more sellers, choice for consumers is more, right? So this is the meaning. There is a direct relationship between number of sellers and the number of output present in the market. Okay, so what is the next one? Next one is level of technology used to produce the commodity. So it is obvious, if you are using very high technology to produce the commodity, you will be very efficient. When you are very efficient, your cost of production will be very less, right? And because your cost of production is very less and you are very efficient, you can produce more commodities per day or per unit of time. So when you can produce more number of commodities per unit of time, your output will be more. If your output is more, your supply will be more, right? When the level of technology is very advanced, the producers will be more efficient, then productivity will increase, then output will increase, then supply will increase. So this is the, we can say, the connectivity or the flow chart that you can think in your head when we talk about the second point, right? So prices of inputs used to produce the good. If the input is very cheap and easily available, then more of it will be produced, right? But if the input or the prices of the input is very costly or it is very difficult to obtain, then less number of output will be produced, right? So amount of government regulation, subsidies or taxes in the market. If regulation is very strict, not many producers will enter that market. If subsidies are more, then more number of people want to enter that market because government is giving subsidy. Their cost of production will be very less. They can sell at a good price and make good profit. If taxes are less, more people will come. If taxes are more, not many people will come, right? So price of fifth one is price of other goods sellers could produce, right? So if prices of other goods that sellers could produce. Now let us say leather shoe manufacturer, right? Leather shoe manufacturer comes to know, or he gets to know that leather pants are more costly, more expensive and more in trend, that they are more in demand, right? So the input is same, input is leather, right? Only the production process will vary, right? So immediately when he knows that pants are more expensive, he will shift from shoes to pant. Then what happens to supply of shoes? Supply of shoes reduces, whereas supply of pants increases, right? So but here there is no change in the price of shoes, there is only change in price of leather pants, right? So but still it is affecting the supply of shoes, right? So this is what they are talking about in the fifth point. Then expectations among producers of future prices. If in the future the producer realizes that, oh, this is going to be an amazing product, it will be in demand, price will be very high, I can make lot of profit, then supply will increase, right? So in the future, if demand is high and price is high, then supply will be high, right? So this is the connection. If the opposite is true, if you get to know that, oh, in the future, demand won't be there, price won't be there, nobody will be liking such products, then you will, of course, you will not purchase it, right? You will not produce it. So for example, it is your keypad phones, right? So keypad phones, are they in very much demand right now? Do people like it? No, they don't, right? So it's not in trend, it's not in demand, prices are very low. So people are not going to produce it more. They are going to produce the smartphones. So these are few determinants of supply. Now coming to market dynamics of supply. So it is the same as the market dynamics of demand, okay? But now we are going to see it from the supply point of view. So in movement along supply curve, again you have contraction and extension, right? So it is here, when on the supply curve the quantity supplied decreases due to decrease in price, then we say contraction is happening, right? So here can you see the movement is along the same supply curve, there is no new supply curve, and this movement along supply curve is only due to price change. All other factors are kept constant. All other factors, like these factors which can see, these are factors which you can also call them factors which affect supply, okay? So all of these factors are kept constant, only price is changing in movement along supply curve. So there are two types. Contraction is when quantity supplied is decreasing because price is decreasing, right? In extension, quantity supplied is increasing because price is increasing. That is the meaning. So what is the other type of market dynamics? It is shift in supply curve. So here what is happening, it is opposite of movement along demand curve, because the entire supply curve is becoming a new one, right? So the S is the first supply curve, S1 is the second one, S3 is the third one. So when the supply curve shifts towards right, then we say there is increase in supply. When the supply curve shifts towards left, then we say there is decrease in supply. Here price is constant, external factors change, right? So this you need to understand. In shift in supply curve, all these other factors which we talked about, they will be changing, price will be kept constant. So when the supply curve shifts to the right, we call it as increase in supply, and when supply curve shifts to the left, we call it as decrease in supply, right? So factors affecting shift in supply. So again, change in technology, reduction in price of raw materials, improvement in market infrastructure. See, market infrastructure can be anything. It can be buildings, it can be roads, it can be the factories, machineries, market information, etc. It can be anything, right? If there is an improvement in all of these things, then there will be shift in supply. See, there is no change in price. Price of the product will remain same. Then number of producers, then producers' expectation of future prices. Can you see all of these things are very similar to these factors, these determinants, right? So because they are external factors, they are not, price is an internal factor. Internal factor means its own price is going to change its supply. That is internal to the product, right? It is its own feature. But here whatever else we are studying, they are external to the product. The product does not have it as a feature, right? So then we say that the shift in supply curve is happening. Okay. Now what is elasticity of supply? We did elasticity of demand, same concept, but in case of supply, right? Elasticity of supply of a commodity is responsiveness or sensitivity of supply to changes in price of a commodity. So what is the formula? What is responsiveness or sensitivity? If price changes, by how much will the quantity supplied change? This how much, this measurement is done by elasticity, right? So we have done this. The formula is also the same, it remains same, that is percentage change in quantity divided by percentage change in price, right? So finally, what is your elasticity of supply formula? Delta Q by delta P into P by Q. This is your formula. Clear? Okay. Now, degrees of elasticity. What is perfectly elastic supply, right? So, even a minute rise in price leads to infinite or unlimited increase in quantity supplied. This one. This is perfectly elastic. That even 0.1% increase in price will lead the producers to increase their quantity supplied to infinite or unlimited increase, right? So, again, this and this do not exist in real world, right? So 1 and 2, they are not reality, right? They might happen or something close to that might happen, but the same thing itself does not happen, right? So that is the meaning. So what is perfectly inelastic? Perfectly inelastic means the change in price, whether it is increase or decrease, has no effect on the quantity supplied. Whether the price is increasing, whether the price is decreasing, the quantity supplied will remain same. So this is the graph. So here we can see that supply curve is vertical. So in the previous supply curve is horizontal. You need to know these things, you know, these values. Elasticity of supply is infinite in which type of elasticity? Elasticity of supply is 0 in which type of elasticity of supply? The shape of the curve, in which elasticity is it vertical, in which elasticity is it horizontal? These things are very, very important for your MCQs. Okay. Then what is relatively elastic supply? So relatively elastic supply means the percentage change in quantity supplied is greater than the percentage change in price, right? So it is also called as just elastic supply. This we call as perfectly elastic. We call it as just elastic supply. Here ES is more than 1. Here this one. This is elastic. So can you see the supply curve is almost horizontal, but it's not. The slope is very less. So in elastic supply you can also write that slope is less, right? So this is elastic. So what is inelastic or relatively inelastic supply? Here the percent change in quantity supplied is lesser than the percent change in price. So ES is less than 1, this one. So can you see that the slope is more? So you can also take down these small notes that I am writing, that in relatively inelastic supply, the supply curve has higher slope, or the curve is more slope, right? So what is unitary elastic supply? Percent change in quantity supplied is equal to percent change in price. ES is equal to 1, this one. So this is your 45-degree line, which is the most perfect line, like equilibrium line you can tell, right? So that is what the supply curve will be when it is unit elastic. So these are the degrees of elasticity. I hope this is clear till here, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to practice some questions now. So I hope you all can do it with me. I'll give you some amount of time. Let us say I'll give you 1 minute for each question for you to do, right? Even I'll be practicing with you, or I'll be solving it on the board later, right? Or 1 minute or 45 seconds, okay? Right. So the first one is, if the price elasticity of demand for a good is 0.75, the demand for the good can be described as, see here demand elasticity is also included. So what are they asking here? They have given you the price elasticity of the good. It is 0.75, which is less than 1, right? So we all know the price elasticity is less than 1 for inelastic demand. So your answer is inelastic demand, right? So this is the first question. So these kind of questions also you can expect. They might give you some value and they might ask you what kind of elasticity is this, or what kind of slope does this demand will have, or something like that. So it is very important to know application based level of questions, okay? When the price of a product is increased by 10%, so the change in price is increase, okay, by 10%, so plus 10%. The quantity demanded decreases by, so the change in quantity is minus 15%. In this range of prices, demand for the product is. So now what is your formula? EP is equal to percentage change in quantity demanded by percentage change in price. So what will it be? Minus 15 by 10. So which is minus 1.5. So here EP is less than 1, right? So when we say EP is less than 1 and the percentage change in quantity demanded is greater than the percentage change in price, right? So when we say this is more than 1, sorry, we don't consider the sign. So EP is more than 1, correct? So here percentage change in quantity demanded is more than price, then the demand is elastic, okay? So this is how you need to use the formulas, or this is how you need to substitute the values given. Okay, just a minute, let me erase it. Okay, what is the third question? If the price elasticity of demand for a product is equal to 0.5, so you know EP is equal to 0.5, then a 10% decrease in price will, so the change in price is 10%. So this is the opposite, you know EP is equal to delta Q, change in percentage change in Q by percentage change in P. You know EP is 0.5. So you need to change the percentage change in Q you want to find out. Here this is 10%. So this will be 10 into 0.5 will be the percentage. 10 into 0.5 will be the percentage change in Q, which is 5%. So A will be your answer. Okay. I hope you guys are able to do it with me, right? If you want, you can pause the video and solve the questions so that it will be kind of a practice, and further when you play the video, you can correct your answer, whether you got it right or whether you got it wrong. I think that will be very, very nice that for you to apply whatever knowledge you have gained. Next one. Suppose you are given the following data on demand for a product. The price elasticity of demand when price decreases from $9 to $7 is. See, now this is another formula that you have to use, right? So there was this one more formula, delta Q by delta P into P by Q, right? So this is the initial. I hope you know this. This is the initial quantity, right? So here what is delta Q? From 9 to 7, what is it? 60 minus 40 by 9 minus 7 into what is the price? What is the initial price? 9 by 40, right? So here 20 by 2 into 9 by 40. This will be 10, this will be 4. So this will be 9 by 4, right? One second. Right. So now we have 9 by 4. So the value will be something 2.2, something like that. So your elasticity of demand or price elasticity of demand will be 2.2, which is more than 1. So the demand is elastic, right? So I think, okay, no, this is D, option D, right? So this is your fourth question. Then fifth one, if 100 units of a product K are sold at a unit price of 10, okay? So 100 units are sold when the price is $10, okay? And 75 units of the same product are sold when the price increases to 15. So what is happening here? Price is increasing, quantity demanded is decreasing. That is visible to everybody, right? So one can conclude that in this price range. So again we will have to solve it. Let us solve the question, right? So we have the initial quantities, we have the changes and everything. So let us solve the problem using the same formula. So the formula is delta Q by delta P into P by Q. So what is the change in Q? 25. What is the change in P? 5. So what is the initial price? Initial price is 10. Initial quantity is 100. So here I think we can solve it like this. So this will be 1 by 2, which is 0.5. So here your elasticity of demand is less than 1, right? So when it is less than 1, we know that demand is inelastic. I hope this is clear to everybody, right? So what is your sixth question? So your sixth question is that, one second, right? So your sixth question is that total revenue falls as the price of a good increases if price elasticity of demand is. So they are telling you that total revenue, which is price of the commodity into quantity sold, this is decreasing when price is increasing, right? So you need to understand here. Let me insert a slide, one second. So what are they telling? They are telling total revenue is decreasing. So what is the formula for total revenue? P into Q. So this is decreasing, okay? But price is increasing. So in this term, P is increasing, okay? But if the entire term P into Q, that is total revenue, should decrease when P is increasing, obviously Q should decrease, right? That is common sense. let us take an example. Price, let us say it was 5, that time quantity sold was 10, right? So what is your total revenue? 50 rupees. Now let us say price became 7 rupees, but quantity remained 10. Let us say for example, then your total revenue becomes 70. Then here total revenue is increasing from 50 to 70, it is plus 20. So total revenue is increasing, but what are they telling? They are telling total revenue is decreasing. So that means when P increased to 7, Q should have fallen down to, let us say 8, or let us say Q fell down to 7. So then what total revenue becomes? 7 into 7, that is 49. Then total revenue which was 50 has decreased to 49, that is minus 1, right? So when price increases, then quantity demanded is increasing. That is what they are telling, right? So this is very, very classic, that price has an effect on demand. So we say that demand is elastic. See, when we say inelastic, we can't say the price is inelastic or perfectly elastic because we don't know the value, right? So it's not unitary elastic because they are not telling us the percentage values. So we can only say that it is elastic. Don't get confused between unitary elastic and perfectly elastic. For perfectly elastic means what? Small change in price, infinite change in quantity demanded. Have they mentioned anywhere that the quantity change is infinite or unlimited? They have not. So we cannot make that assumption just based on this question. It's a very general question. And the only assumption you can make is that, oh, okay, when price is increasing, then quantity demanded is falling. That means price has some effect on quantity, right? But if they had told even when price is increasing, quantity demanded is not increasing, then you can say it was inelastic. So the answer is A. Now what is the 7th one? A state government wants to increase the taxes on cigarettes to increase tax revenue. Okay. This tax would only be effective in raising new tax revenues if price elasticity of demand is. Right. So now we know the answer is inelastic. How? How is it inelastic? Now let us explain. So let us say cigarettes, let us call it as C. Okay. So what the government wants to do? It wants to increase tax on it. When tax increases, price increases of the product, obviously producers have to pay more tax, so they will increase the price of the product. So price became costly. When price became costly, what happens to quantity demanded? It should decrease, right? Quantity demanded should decrease, means less people will buy cigarettes. If less people are buying cigarettes, revenue from tax, not of tax. Revenue from the tax will decrease, right? So this should happen. This is the point. Quantity demanded should decrease, right? So when will this happen? When price increases, when will quantity decrease? If the demand is elastic. If price has some effect on the demand, then only quantity demanded will decrease. Otherwise, it won't decrease. So what are we telling? Price should have no effect on demand. So when is this possible? Only when the demand is inelastic, right? I hope this was clear. Only when the price is inelastic, there is no effect of price change on the demand. So there will be no decrease in demand. When there is no decrease in demand, revenue can be collected by the government, new revenues, right? New revenues means more revenue that the government wants. Okay. Then last one, Sony is considering a 10% price reduction on its color television sets. Okay. So it wants to reduce its color television sets by price by 10%. If the demand for sets in this price range is inelastic, see they are telling you EP is inelastic. That means what? The value of elasticity of price, price elasticity of demand is less than 1. That means change in price has no effect on quantity demanded. No matter if you change the price by, if you decrease the price by 10%, 20%, even if you give it for free, 100% if you reduce the price, there is no effect on demand, because they are telling price range is inelastic. Okay, that means what should happen when price decreases? Quantity demanded should increase. This will not happen because it is inelastic, right? So what the Sony people are hoping, oh, we reduce the price, then demand will increase, our revenue will increase because more people will come and buy. But what is actually happening? Because it is inelastic, they decrease the price, quantity demanded no change, so their revenue decreased, right? So revenues derived from color sets will decrease. So when, can you understand the implications on business? The producer or the owner should know what kind of product they are producing, what kind of demand elasticity their product has. If it is inelastic, they can't play with the price, right? Because price has no effect on the quantity demanded. So they can't just decrease the price and expect that, oh, okay, more people will purchase. That will not happen. Okay, so it is very, very important that a business owner knows what kind of demand elasticity or price elasticity is present for his or her product in the market. Clear? Then, so I think that's it for today, guys. We did a lot of stuff today. We practiced some questions. We started supply also. We studied supply also. So you have got lot of content with you to go over. So the kind of practice questions I have made you do, if you try to do the application based like that, so it will be very, very helpful. You will become very, very expert in the topic, if I can say. I know now it is little difficult. Oh, if price increases, what is elasticity, what is inelasticity, because you know it is fairly, you know, very new to apply it to problems. But the moment you start practicing it, it will become like at the tip of your tongue, it will be there. You can guess very easily. Just by hearing to someone say something, you can tell, oh, demand is elastic or demand is inelastic, right? So I hope all of you had a very good time. Study well for tomorrow's exams. I wish all the aspirants of NFL-MT a very, very best of luck or a very good luck for your exam, right? I hope all of you can do it with a lot of confidence. Have a good night's rest. Please don't get tense, and don't forget to take your hall ticket and everything to your exams. And have a great day, guys, and have a great exam tomorrow. Thank you.